Hey guys, Zen here, and welcome back. Today we return with more Rainbow Six Siege, of course, and in this one, we're packing it in with some of the biggest rumors and announcements recently. So before we kick it off, a little recap Q&A. What happened to this man? Well, Axe, I've enjoyed the turnover into 2021, as I hope many of you have. Where's Zen? Yeah, I'm here on the internet, always. And finally, how much did this guy pay Yubi for all those black ice? A comment from an alpha pack opening video. And all I can say, Punisher Gaming, is that I didn't. But I promise that if you subscribe to this channel, you're guaranteed to open a black ice pack here in 2021, and turning on notifications means no duplicates. But anyways, guys, we're back with the first video of the new year, and I'm ready to get into this. And so first up, I think it's best to mention the Pro League, because over the break, there's been a massive change from within the regions, and it could change up how and where you enjoy your R6 esports fix. Obviously, the mecca for all things R6 is just a few weeks away with the 6 Invitational, and so let's talk about the news. So the US and Canadian divisions for R6 esports have merged, which means there's actually no exclusive Canadian esports region for Rainbow Six Siege. Instead, they've merged into the US, and it is now wholly named the NA region. We've made the decision to merge the Canada and US divisions into one unified North American division. The unification of both divisions will ensure that all North American players are competing at the highest level of competition. The goal of the Canada division was to grow the talent pool in the North, and we want to thank our Canadian teams for pursuing that goal with us in a very challenging year. In addition, we're also pleased to announce that the Canadian Challenger League and US Challenger League will merge into a single unified Challenger League. This league will continue to play online as a continuation of the 2020 season. So overall, this is a really big change here. And for those competing at the highest level, the competition just got much more thick. And for those of you who aspire to enter the league, I would say there's a little more opportunity to do so. Just know that it's now the entirety of North America you're up against, and the competition will be steep. Now, of course, with the 6 Invitational so soon here, there will be a brand new event that'll lead up into it. And in the past, we quickly discussed the roles of the team captains that'll be an integral part. Mira, Vigil, Capitao, and Ash are the team captains for the upcoming games, and Ubisoft showed off the brand new Stadium Map 2.0. Now, I've got to say, these maps are just so clean. I absolutely love the design aesthetic, and it's also interesting that with the Stadium maps, the developers combine 2 or 3 areas of existing maps and merge them into one new experience. Last year, there was a bit of Hereford and Oregon, and the community seemed to really enjoy that one. And here, there's some border, coastline, and a ton of outside cover, which makes it all new compared to the previous version. Now, for me, these maps have always been a bit special, and I think most of the community agrees that these events are some of the best that Ubisoft puts on for Siege, and honestly, I think it's because they keep it Siege. Through the past year, we've actually had some massive events that changed the fundamentals and switched up the core of Rainbow Six Siege, and for a lot of people, they can be underwhelming. But the SI events always seem to deliver, and I think it just comes down to keeping things Siege to the core and making these impressive maps that bring it all together. So yeah, we don't have an official date for when it's coming, but with the Invitational so close, it should be arriving promptly. So next up, I wanted to visit the latest rumors swirling around year 6, and I'm not going to say leaks because a lot of this stuff is mostly hearsay throughout the community. The main reason I want to discuss this here is because year 6 is one of the most important times for Rainbow Six Siege. There are so many community concerns and requests that the devs, I think, have to start chipping away at to make this game sustainable up to that 10-year plan. Year 5 was a very top-heavy year. I think at the start, the hype was at an all-time high, the roadmap looked ultra promising, and the game was in relative good health. Now, throughout year 5, a lot of that changed, and of course, there was a world crisis in that time, and Siege maintained, I think, best it could. But now, the devs are a little more settled into the environment, everyone is moving forward, and year 6 has the potential to change the course of Siege through to the end. And so, of course, it's already been confirmed that only one new operator will grace each season of year 6, and what's being rumored is an RC car operator. Very similar to Twitch in that the gadget doubles as a drone, but instead of a taser attached to it, it'll have some kind of explosive ability. Now, an explosive RC car really isn't anything new, especially in the landscape of a shooter. I mean, Call of Duty has had this mechanic in basically every single title to date as a kill streak, and a lot of players really enjoy it. But making its way to a game like Rainbow Six Siege, at least for me, is a bit of a challenge. On the one hand, I don't think it'll be received well if it acts like one from COD in that it actually kills an opponent. In other games, it's 1-to-1. If an RC car cruises up to you and explodes, it kills you and sacrifices itself. In Siege, there's just no way that mechanic will stand, and so at the very least, doing damage could be an option, but even still, I'm not sure if it's too much. In a 1v1 situation, if you've both taken on some damage damage in a gunfight, the attacker could just pull back and send out this gadget to finish off the round, and in almost every way, it fills me with rage. Like, sure, a Kapkan trap can kind of do the same thing for the defensive side, but I think having the ability to cruise something that lethal up to an enemy, yeah, it's powerful. Now, for Siege, there are a few ways to balance it out to tip the scales. As a drone, you could decrease its speed so that it's much slower than the rest of the drones and gives defense that time to shoot it out. You could also make it much louder while it's moving around so that a defender would be aware of its presence. And then, of course, like with Twitch, you could also disable the ability to jump, so it's basically always grounded. And so there are definitely some ways to work it out and introduce it for a fair play, but it could be one of the most delicate balances ever in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, again, this is a rumor, and so the whole grain of salt thing applies here, but if it does pan out to be true, I'm excited. The possibilities, especially on the side of utility, are huge with this one, and I think if done correctly, there could be another well-off attacker for Team Rainbow. Now, moving on to something that actually surprised me over the break, but the reputation system. If you guys haven't kept up, one of the features that was revealed last year with the roadmap, like at the start of year 5, was the reputation system, and it's basically a way for everyone to see how you handle yourself while you game online. In the future, it'll be front and center. You, your friends, and everyone you match up with will be able to see your reputation just by hovering over your name, and there will be a few ratings that are uncovered. The 3 possible ratings are a negative standing starting at level 0 and level 1, a neutral standing at level 2, and a positive standing at level 3 and 4, and surprisingly, you'll receive rewards if you maintain this green standing. It's a pretty thorough system that should ultimately help with toxicity and also encourage a more positive community. However, the catch here, and what came as a surprise, is that it's actually been live running in the background this whole time. Ubisoft says, over the past year, deployments for the reputation system were made in the background, so while the entire system is currently live, it is not visible in the front end and has no impact yet on players. These shadow deployments have allowed us to continue making the observations, iterations, and balancing updates needed to improve the scoring system so that it treats all players in a fair way. Now, honestly, this is kind of crazy, and yeah, I think just generally it is a good thing, because it's the kind of thing where if you know you're being watched, you're more likely to suppress how you really act, and therefore give the system an inaccurate reading of your behavior if you are a toxic mess, that is. Also, once this does go live on the front end, there will be much more of a spectrum of players instead of everyone keeping pace in a neutral or positive standing. But I like this system, and it's because it holds everyone accountable and additionally rewards those who are acting positively and holding a good standing. Will there still be bad apples? Yes, of course, but now you'll be able to see that immediately, and if you choose to mute them before they even get started, then you'll have that option and kind of be justified in it. The last thing to note is that similar to other rep systems, usually it also has a hand in matchmaking, which means that the bad will likely queue with the bad and so on moving forward, which means if there is toxicity in your lobby, there's a chance you'll be faced with it all the same. So guys, yeah, it starts now, and so if you want to launch with a positive standing and reap the rewards for doing so, follow the golden rule and treat others how you'd like to be treated. And remember, Team Rainbow is watching. And so that's our first video in the new year, guys, here for 2021. It's great to be back. Remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because we are just getting started here. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.